All right. Um, Yay, we're live, is what YouTube is telling me. So, hey, if you're joining or if you watch this later, I tried to stream on Twitter on the X platform recently, and it was dumb and not a good experience. And so I'm gonna start trying to stream just a little bit on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe we'll actually go to Twitch at some point because that seems to be what all the cool kids use. But anyway, I'm doing this because I've been working on a remix image guide. Actually, let me step back. I'm just trying to verbally process. So I'm the remix developer relations manager at Shopify for the remix team. If you don't know that, that's what I do. And I love this job. I think it's super cool. I get to do a lot of really fun stuff. Um, but one thing that is a little bit tough about it is, or something I've just had to figure out, is my schedule is very loose, and what I work on is like very loose. And I always want to be, working on code to some degree. I always want to be learning, but also just having a good enough or like a really good grasp on Remix to be able to help other people learn. So that is why I would like to be working on things. And one thing that I have seen kind of missing in the remix community a lot, or a lot of people ask for, is they really want like a remix image component, kind of like how Next has. And I just, for a lot of reasons, I don't think that's what we need. But I would like to provide some better guidance than what we currently have on using on rendering images well in Remix apps. So I'm just working on a little website for that. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, this is just my attempt to to work on that relatively regularly. If you are watching this and you have any questions or concerns, or if like I can make you know code sizes bigger or whatever, just let me know. You should be able to comment on YouTube. I think I have that all opened up and everything. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. Cool. I am. Oh, I didn't even mean to be doing that. See, I'm very bad at the streaming. I'm meant to be doing this. Oh well, that's fine. We're just gonna share my screen really fast. So we got this image guide. So there's a couple things I want to work on here today. So one thing I did get a notification. Let's go back through all these things. Not that one. I'm very bad at organizing my Twitter usage. But someone, the creator of Remix Image, responded and said that Remix Image should be usable in V2. This was something I just had a bad experience previously with, yeah, with Remix. There we go. Oh, this wasn't the creator, sorry. Josh McFarlane is the creator of Remix Image Sharp. Oh, maybe I misunderstood what this is. This is very interesting. Okay, so Remix Image is like a package that is actually meant for rendering, images very much like a Next component or whatever. So I wanted to play with this a little bit more. And so let's see, James Restall mentioned, my instincts are right. Remix Image does use Sharp via Remix Image Sharp plugin. It works on V2 as well, so that's great. Okay, got it. So Remix Image Sharp is a sub package as well, which is very interesting. So how does this work? This is like a whole loader kind of setup. This is very fascinating. Yeah, so the experience I had was that Remix Image didn't really work, so I'd be very curious to try and get it to work. So it's one thing I want to try. And then another thing is I did a bunch of like ridiculous refactoring and it just made everything kind of silly. Last time I was doing a stream that I don't know, I was also just trying to test how streams work, so not a big deal. What's up, Josh? Thanks for joining online. I know you do a lot of streaming, so if you have any opinions on how I can be making this better, let me know. Yeah, this is a very new thing for me. So yeah, okay, cool. So anyway, so yeah, the first thing I think I'm gonna do is just like work on that little refactoring problem that I had. So let me get this all set up. So we'll do this, and hey, there's my face. Great. And we're gonna go to projects, yeah, and so we'll get the image guide up. And then I think last time, or a problem I always have is people always complain about, oh my gosh, everything is opening up, about the size of my window. So we'll just bump it up to a ridiculous size. That looks silly to me, but I'm sure looks great to you. And so we'll go with that. So yeah, the thing that I did last time that was kind of silly was, yeah, okay. So I've got all these routes. I've got an index route, which is like pretty ugly right now, but it just like lists the examples that I have. And then all the other routes right now are just like, oh, basic, Vite, plugin, image, optimizer, etc. These are all the guides that I'm going to eventually make. The basic one is the only one that's like actually written and kind of decent-ish. But I realized I had this like underscore guide. Um, yeah, thanks, Josh. I appreciate it. Yeah, just little improvements each time you stream. That's the mentality I am very much having to have of not being perfect immediately. But I really like it when I'm perfect the first time. Has that ever happened in my life? No, but I keep wanting to be perfect the first time I try anything. So constantly working through that. That little 8-year-old version of me that was very bad at sports and gave up on them quickly. Okay, so yeah, I was initially just thinking, oh, like everything that's not underscore index should be a guide. That's kind of silly. So I want to just like put a I'm just gonna put like group them all together with like an underscore guide just to make it a little bit more clear. So if that doesn't make sense, we'll first do it with basic. So we'll do this guide, and then this underscore here, if I remember correctly, means that this is like, oh man, see, now I'm already doing this wrong. I'm pretty sure it's here. This means that this part, that guide won't be like part of the URL, because with this file-based routing, otherwise in Remix, things are part of the URL. So I'm pretty sure that's right. But yeah, we'll do that first, and we'll see what blows up, and then we'll try it. So let's get this to run. 5173. Okay, cool. So if I hit basic example, it goes to basic, which is great. So yeah. Oh, but no route for routes slash basic. Now it's upset. Maybe I did do something wrong. My goodness. All right, let's try this again. Like, all right. See, this is why. This is why I didn't want to mess with these layouts too much. Okay, cool. So let me just go to the remix docs really fast because I really don't like file-based routing, man. It's just some people love it, some people hate it. I just feel like I have to remember a bunch of things, and then when I forget it, I feel like a silly person. So this is my least favorite thing. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks for being happy to see me on stream. Sorry that the Twitter one was terrible. Anyway, yeah. So I actually, yeah. File-based writing is not my favorite. I'm really excited for V3 of Remix. I think there's going to be some cool stuff, but I don't. That's not what we're here to talk about. So we'll just go to the file conventions, route file naming, and we'll make sure that I'm not crazy about this underscore thing. What is it called? Pathless. Oh my gosh, go away. There we go. Pathless routes. No, there it was. I wanted that. Yeah. So yeah. Like if you put an underscore in front. So I did that right. I think it just freaked out a little bit, which is okay. It has every right to freak out. Okay. So this should not change. I don't know why it is changing that. Oh, underscore guide dot basic. That's how I want the guides to be grouped. So let's do a little refresh here. And I think this assertion, actually, I think what's blowing up is it's somewhere else. Yeah, it's this get guide front matter. That makes a lot more sense. So get guide front matter is just a way to get like all the front matter for each of the guides. And right now, I spent way too much time on this on the last stream. Right now, it's just not working, which is fine. We will fix it. At the moment, yeah, it doesn't like this because it's saying build.route slash route ID doesn't exist. So this was used in the root. And yeah, so the route ID that I'm getting, I'm just like creating it like this, which isn't exactly right, which is fine. So what am I doing? I'm taking the path name, and then I was saying, oh, if the path name is slash, then use underscore index, but that's really not what I want. Yeah, I was trying to be clever about the meta. That's what I was doing. So for now, let's just ignore this. Well, I'm trying to think if I should fix this or not. Let's see. This is what I didn't want to spend time on this, but I'm gonna have to because I did some silly things. All right, let's look at that one more time. So the get guide front matter, it's gonna get the build, and then it's gonna get all the routes on the build, and then it's gonna try and find which route you're actually looking for. Get that module. Once it gets that module, do some quick checking, and then get the front matter of said module. Um, yeah, which is helpful. That is kind of what I wanted to do. The problem is using this path name is kind of a problem. The problem is that it's a problem. Yeah. Using this path name is a problem because this path name is going to correlate again to this, but it's not actually going to correlate to what the file name is. So this is like not really the best way to do this. So Okay, one thing we're gonna do is I'm just gonna open up, I'm gonna console log this build just to slash the routes to see what it looks like again, just to kind of get an idea of what we have to actually work with. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. So yeah. So basically what it is every ID of like the route is a key and it maps to all this information about the route itself, like its ID and its parent ID and the path. Ooh, maybe that's what I want to use. And the module. Path might be something different. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, see, there's the path there. Actually, that might be what I need. I think I can just find it by path. Ugh, I feel like this is maybe gonna not work out the way I want it to. So we can just search by the path, right? So there's root. I don't care about root because it's not going to be considered in this. I just want to look at the index. So what is its path? Its path is undefined, which is very weird to me. I don't really understand that. I think that's what I ran into last time. I didn't realize that it was a problem. So that's okay. I probably just want to make this more fault tolerant as well. Okay, cool. So I want to search by the path, which is great. So we're going to get the routes, and then we're going to say build.routes, and then we're going to find for each route. We're going to search the route.path. This, of course, doesn't know anything because it doesn't even. Oh, sorry. This needs to be object.entries. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're going to find the route, and for each route, yeah, I don't think it like knows any information about this, which is a bit unfortunate. What does it think these routes are? Server route manifest. And so for route, oh, not entries, values. That's why it's upset. Cool. Okay, now it knows what it is. So path probably like should exist or whatever. This is no longer going to be called route ID. It'll be path ID. Uh, Josh asked, "Do you have the debugger set up to work well with Veet plus Remix apps? Would love to see that in action." Yeah, I would. I would actually love to figure that out. I'm just such a I'm such a terrible debugger. Like I use console log for everything. I know Matt Brophy is pretty good about debugging. And usually has like a nice setup if I remember correctly. So it might be fun to kind of ask him and get him to show me how to do it because yeah, I would love to get that set up too. I just don't use debuggers very well, and like yeah, I know that probably makes me a terrible programmer, which is fine. I'm okay with that. I've survived so far. Um, but it's just like it's a thing where it's like I know it wouldn't be too hard to learn, but I also survive without it, and so then it doesn't feel like it's worth even the little amount of time that it takes to learn. It's just like my mentality. I'm not saying that's like right at all. That's just like why I don't think I can convince myself to do it. But yeah, I'd love to figure that out. Or if anyone else has like a good guide on that, or if it's easy to set up or whatever, I don't know. Just like make a video or show me or show other people. I don't care. But yeah, that'd be cool to see. I think a lot of people would like to know how to do that. Okay, so we've got the routes. We're gonna try and find the route ID, but I didn't call it that anymore. I'm just gonna call it the path name because I feel like that's what it's going to be called when it's passed down, which is cool. Okay, so then we're going to find this. So we'll say const route equals this. And here's what I want to do. I just want to say if there's no route, I'm going to return this. And we're going to be okay with that, just like an empty object. The front matter, just like it won't just have any information. So this will be a little more safe, I think. Because before I was doing this, I don't know. We'll see. Let me try that for now. We'll say we'll search for it just as we're debugging, but eventually I might just want to avoid how much this thing breaks. And then we do actually want to check if there's front matter in the module because that's a problem because if we are looking for, well, yeah, maybe I do just want to do all this. This is fine. Okay, and then we want to return the module. I'm surprised this, oh, it's because module is like an actual thing. So I need to get the module from the route. I'm surprised it's okay with me doing this. It's not okay with me doing this. So, oh my gosh. Okay, so if there's no, there needs to be a route and there needs to be a route dot module, which is great. And then we can say const module equals route dot module because then it knows it exists, which is good. All right, cool. So that's all we need to do there. Josh, I use console log a lot. I use NeoVim and have a lot of headaches trying to get the debugger working. Actually, you should probably talk to Pedro because I'm pretty sure he uses NeoVim. Yeah, that's also another thing that I don't know. I'm just good with the setup I have. I would love for someone to convince me to spend a lot of time getting an alternative setup. I want to. I don't want to be convinced of that. I'm just kidding. But yeah, if I hear of anything or just reach out to Pedro, maybe he's got something set up. Okay, cool. So now we've got this working, which is great. So we're no longer going to pass in this route ID thing that I have. We're just going to try passing in the path name. And then I know for the index, it's not going to work. So I'm just going to be kind of like, gosh, I'll have to think about that situation where the path name is nothing. Let's console log the path name. Because I think it's just like blank for index, right? Get rid of this. Okay, no route found for slash basic. That's perfectly fair because the slash is not at the beginning when we're looking for these. So I think what we're gonna do, so we're gonna say dot replace. Oh, that's actually right. I think this is right. What does how do you do this? No, it's not that. What does selection do? Let's see if Copilot can figure this out. He's thinking. The selected code is right. Yeah, I got that. Matches any string that ends with a slash. That's not what I want. Yeah, I don't want that. I want it to begin, which I think is like the caret. Is that right? Is this right? I don't know. Let's open up the console and try it. Oh my gosh, what did I click? There we go. So we're gonna say like slash basic. Didn't replace it. It must not be that. This will just get rid of all of them, but I want to get rid of the first one. Let's see if it does it here. Remove any leading slashes. Man, what a weird time we live in, where we just write comments and it kind of figures out what we want. So what does that mean? It means it starts with the slash. Yes, this makes sense. Yeah. Because this is escaping it. This is what I always get mixed up with regex. This is escaping this slash, and then it's saying it has to follow up with something, which is interesting. I think that's what it's saying. That's what the plus is. I don't actually remember. Anyway, that's fine. So this should work. So if I have slash basic, cool. But what if I have like just slash? Yeah, okay, it still works. I don't know. Anyway, that's great. So we're gonna say path name is that. Remove the beginning slash. So no route found for basic. Okay, that's good to know. I'm a little surprised, but I'm not angry. Josh, do you want to just play around with images and disable the front matter feature for now? Yeah, you're probably right. I should probably do that. Yeah, I should probably just do this on my own time because this is nothing about images, is it? Yeah, it's a good point. All right, cool. So I got stuff to work on. Oh my gosh, what is all this stuff? Oh, it's because I move stuff around. Let me just make sure I'm not deleting anything important. Yep. Okay, I think this is all good. So yeah, I'm just gonna reset everything. Oh gosh. Cool. Those are just some little aliases to reset everything. So we should be in a good place now to get going with images. So we're gonna refresh this and make sure everything's still good. All right, cool. So we got that back, and then we're good here. So what I want to do is I want to try yeah, this remix image thing. So we're gonna do that. So last time I tried this with V2, it didn't work, but I potentially did something wrong. So okay, they got like a 5-minute tutorial. This is fun. They got like I've never actually written docustory stocks myself, but I like that they just offer a really nice, just like tutorial like kind of thing. This is how you do tutorials or whatever. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna install this dependency. I don't know what Nextboost hybrid disk cache is though, and I'm always a little bit weary when I'm asked to install something else with a package. It doesn't make me super happy. So let's just look what this is really fast. This was published 2 years ago, and it's on a 0.3. Okay, this is just like a little cache thing. Hybrid disk cache library that utilizes both the SQLite 3 database and the file system. When the value is larger than 2 kilobytes, it will be written to the file system, otherwise saved in the SQLite 3 database. Interesting. Okay, I don't really want to use this, but that's fine. So then he's got some styles that you pull in, and that's how you're going to style your thing. I, I don't want to do that either, so I'm probably going to skip that. I guess I should do everything that they're asking and then just go back and change stuff. I just like this is a lot of setup to use, and I know this is partly because this was written for Remix, kind of like I don't know, just an older kind of remix. So this was maybe more this style, but it feels weird to me. I don't know. So anyway, what we're gonna do is we're actually just we'll do a side effect import. That should be fine. Because we're just going to do this in the root, so it's everywhere, so we don't have to do this link setup. This is new with like the Beat plugin and whatnot. So now the other thing that I'm going to do is copy all of this. What is all of this? It just feels like a lot of stuff I shouldn't have to set up. I'm going to skip all of that. Okay, create a loader, create a new resource route that imports the image loader function. Got it. Okay, this is what I thought this was doing, which is fine. So this is one of the guides I want to set up where basically it is using a loader to automatically like resize and whatnot your images. So this is fine. Let's try it. Okay, so app/routes API/image.js. Okay, we will find it, or we'll try it. API/image.js uses, so by default, the image component uses this route. I'm sure that's something we can configure, but by default, that's what it's looking for. So yeah, see, this is just a little bit older, which is fine. This should be, I think, actually, why is this upset? Does this not exist anymore? Import type, oh, you told me to make this JS, but it's TS. That's okay. Okay, we'll TS it. All right, cool. So we got our little image loader that comes from the remix image, and we've got some disk cache thing. So we're going to set up a cache. We got a config. It's saying self URL. This is actually wrong too. This should be 57, 51, 73. So for now, we'll do that. Hey Pedro. Did NeoVim just call you onto this? You use the debug built-ins with LazyVim and have a good experience with those. Cool. Yeah, you and Matt or Josh should talk, and maybe I don't know. Josh streams a lot. Get him on your stream or something. I don't know. I'm not trying to just trying to matchmake here. Okay. By default, Remix Image uses Pure Transformer, which supports image transforms for the following types: JPEG, PNG, GIF, or GIF. If you really like peanut butter, non-animated. Okay, that doesn't sound very helpful. BMP and TIFF. If you would like to use additional file types, you must use a custom transformer. Okay. Now we can get a component, which is cool. So what I want to do is I'm just going to create a route for now, just called remix image. We'll do TSX for now. I'll maybe do the MDX later, but MDX is a little harder for me to debug sometimes. Just it doesn't lint and whatnot all the same. So we're going to say default export default function remix image. That's great. And then what we're going to do is we'll return all of this, which is it's just very interesting. Yeah, what is this going to be doing? Of course, need to return that. And we'll import the image from remix dash image. And then we need a source. So I don't actually know if that exists. Nope, it totally doesn't. I don't know why that's making that up. Public slash, what do we have? We have all of these. Public slash social slash basic JPEG. All right. So that should just work on its own. Okay, and here he's telling me what all this stuff is. But do I have to do more stuff? Let me just make sure that that is actually a correct. First of all, so we'll go to remix image. Yep, I did stop this. My bad. Okay, so it doesn't like that there's no front matter. This is why, oh my gosh, I'm so silly with all this front matter stuff. So I'm going to just get rid of that for now. This front matter will be undefined for now. And then we'll just say if there's no front matter, we're not going to do anything. So if no front matter, return that. And then that should get us out of that. Okay, now it's saying element type is invalid, which is fine. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to get back to this. But for now, I just want to make sure we actually have something that can render. Okay, so that's good. That can render. So let's do a div. H1, we'll say remix image. We'll do the lowercase so it's clear that it's like a remix age. The package. Okay, and then we're just going to return the image with the source. We're going to make sure that that source, I typed that correctly. Oh, doesn't need to be. We'll get back to that. Okay, so that is correct. So now if I enhance this, yeah, we got that loader URL, oops, which is good. That's what I named that that loader that they had me set up. So that's good. Okay, so everything looks correct. So this should completely work, which is good. But I'm pretty sure this is just going to immediately blow up. Okay, it didn't blow up, but it just doesn't show. Okay, now it blows up if I refresh. So I obviously haven't set everything up. By default, remix image loader is used. Client loader options. What is all this? This is just too much. It doesn't work though. I'm sure I've done something dumb, but like this just doesn't work. And I want it to work because it seems cool and it seems nice. But this doesn't work. Element type is invalid, expected a string for built-in or class functions, blah, 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 blah. That usually means that, yeah, whatever this is returning is like not correct. Let's see if it's even hitting that loader thing. So let's see if this is getting triggered at all. I don't think it is. Yeah, I'm very confused. This is why I am hesitant to recommend using this thing because I don't understand why. It's just not incredibly straightforward to me what's going on, which is a bummer because it feels like this should be really easy. Did I skip a step here? Like it wanted me to add some links, but those are just style sheet stuff, so that shouldn't matter. So that's like no big deal. Hmm. I don't know if it's something about Vite. It really shouldn't be. There's nothing really special about Vite that should make this not work. CJS issue might need to rename C. Okay, that would be the that would be it. Yeah, that's a good point, Pedro. It could be that. I don't know. I could be doing something silly like that. Let's try that. And then well then it gets kind of weird, doesn't it? Yeah, I assumed it was fine. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting any other complaints. I'm just, yeah, I'm pretty hesitant to use this thing. Okay. Actually, nope. Wait, Pedro, we're getting a different error, so maybe that was it. No route matches URL API/image. I'm pretty sure there is a route that matches API/image. Exporting a const loader from here. If I go here, this is 44 not found, which is okay. Shoot, what did I do wrong here? Oh, file-based routing strikes again. All right, that one's on me. So that should be like this, like this. Where was that old one? This is the hard thing with like my screen being so small. I'm not used to all this. All right, so great. That was the problem there. That works. And then now we can just delete this old one. G is not a constant. I don't know what I typed that it's upset about now. This looks correct. Um, G is not a constant. I don't know what I've done wrong now. Let me restart this. Fat routes, thanks, Pedro. Yeah, I hate also the delay on the stream because you're solving it before me and you're probably just watching me be very silly. Okay, what did I type wrong? Where is this G? What is it pointing to? At new disk cache. I don't see what you're talking about. Man. Okay, so if I comment this out, does this error go away or is it still upset? Oh, this is me looking at. Sorry, I should be back. I'm still on the API. What have I done? Let's see, what have I actually changed? I don't know where this stray G is. No idea. No idea what it's upset about. G is not a constructor. Yeah, I don't think this is something I did. This is the new disk cache thing. Okay, so it's disk cache that's a problem, I think. Do I need this disk cache? Can I just get rid of this? Or is this config going to be wrong? Because I'd really love to just get rid of it. Okay, great. Okay, an image URL must be provided. Cool. That's fine with me. So now I'm here. Why do I need this disk cache? What is this? And why is it upset that I used it? It just feels like I'm just fighting a library, and I don't really want to fight a library, which is why I kind of don't want to include this. It just doesn't feel right. Yeah, but that's now running, so I'm good here. Okay. So let's see if we can get this to render without that disk cache. Because maybe if I can just get a really simplified version, this will work. Yay, there it is. Okay, so remix image does work. I was wrong. It does work with V2. That's great. So I can set lots of things, which is cool. And then there's a bunch of properties I think I can change. So, oh my gosh. Let me go back here and go back to that tutorial because they had a list of a bunch of stuff. Cool. Okay, so you got like loader URL, you got your loader, and then you have your responsive, which takes size, which is a width and a height, and then max width. So I've got all those things set. Okay, this is actually, yeah. So one thing I kind of wanted this to do. Oh, here's more stuff. Transform options. By default, remix image loader is used. Is that this thing? Please refer to the client loader documentation. Okay, the image component extends the native image element, so any props used there. Cool, and then this is all the ways I can transform it, right? The main thing I want to know, yeah, thanks, Pedro. I was just trying to get it to work. Yeah, there's a way I can get this to work of doing SSR. Maybe SSR no external. We'll try that and see if that fixes it. But otherwise, I didn't want to mess with it too much. I just want to get this thing working. So we'll try this. So yeah, if you're having CJS interrupt issues or whatever, where am I in the right thing? Yeah. Then you can do no. Why is it not loading? I have a lot of problems with this. Maybe this is something else since Petra's watching me stumble through stuff. I don't know why, but Vite always takes like the Vite config always takes forever to like initially do anything in my VS Code. I'm not sure if it's just parsing a bunch of stuff or what, but it is like consistently slow the first time I load it. So just a random thing. So let's try this. And then we're gonna try this one more time. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go back to what I had and then keep trying to figure it out and figure out if this is something I want to like explore for this guide. The main thing with the guide is I want to actually I want to give people recommendations of stuff that I think is actually useful. So it says exports is not defined, which is fair. I should be pulling this in. Oh my gosh, like that anyway. Let me get rid of that actually. I wonder if that will fix it in the first place. Yeah, that was the problem. Before I was importing it just as like image the default, and I shouldn't do that. I should just import the named one. So I think I got that from the guide. If I did, that should probably be updated. Um, Not a big deal. Just caused me some confusion. Yeah, that's all that we needed. Okay, cool. Um, just thinking of how I'd actually recommend using it in a tutorial or something. Yeah, makes sense. Editor issues, switch to NeoVim. JK, but only 50%. Yeah, really, I should. I should switch to NeoVim and then all my problems would be gone. I'm sure I'd never have to fight my editor again if I did that. All right, so we got that working. It does resize it, which is really neat. That is what I wanted. No, or sort of. That's kind of one thing I wanted. One thing I actually really want, like one thing that is very valuable to me, is automatically converting things like a JPEG into a WebP format. If you're gonna have some kind of image like this, is actually converting the file types. I think it's really helpful. So what else can this thing do? So it can give me different file size and then DPR variants, different DPR variants for to generate images for. This value will always be merged into an array with a value of 1. I'm trying to remember if anyone in the chat knows what is a DPR variant. I don't think I 100% know what this is. Is this a thing from Sharp? Oh man, see, this is all sorts of things that are getting me wrong. Let's see if yeah, I don't think they have it in there. What is a DPR variant images? You'll definitely still fight your editor with NeoVim, but it'll be fun. NeoVim. I don't think that fighting is fun, personally, Pedro. That's just maybe my opinion. This is something else. I don't even know what the DPR is, which is fine. I'm sure it's a thing. It would make sense if I knew what it was. Dynamic something something. Confirm the image device. Let's actually inspect what's happening to this image because I wonder if it's something about like the source sizes or something. I could be wrong. Yeah, okay, cool. This does automatically create source sets and sizes, which is actually super cool. Um, very karate of you. Karate Kid of you, yeah. Karate Kid is a weird movie to me because I slightly missed that generation that grew up with Karate Kid, but all my siblings were very much steeped in that. So I have like secondhand Karate Kid nostalgia. That's like a lot of the 90s for me. A lot of the 90s is like, because I was born in 96, so I'm very young. And a lot of the 90s, like I don't directly remember, but I remember because all my siblings would talk about it, or like they would watch all these things, or have the old toys or whatever. So I have like this weird like dissonance of like being like a secondhand 90s kid, but also like a lot of my friends didn't really grow up with that. So anyway, that has nothing to do with images. Okay, so it creates source sets and stuff, which is cool. So if I comment that out, it did change the source set. So whatever this DPR variant is, I just don't understand what it is, which is fine. There could be an explanation about what it is, but it is related to like the source sets in some way or another. So if I do 1, 3, 5, I just don't know what like what the thought process is for what these numbers actually do, but it's cool. It makes more versions of this, which is great. So if this thing, I'm gonna give it a width of like 600, and the height, can I just let the height be auto? Oh boy, no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted to keep the aspect ratio. Uh, okay. What other options do I have? Okay, so I have to know what the height and width are. It can't just like automatically figure it out, can it? What if I just remove everything? That's great. That's what I want, more or less. Hmm. Weird. I don't know. Okay, what is this image actually? Basic that JPEG. Whoop whoop. How do I figure out the size of this thing? Okay, there we go. 324, 1544. That's almost like a 2-to-1 ratio. Oh, this isn't the right one though, is it? What am I doing? Yeah, I'm using Socialist Spaceship. I don't want to use that one. I want to use public slash images slash let's do this. Let's do this one. We'll get a different one in here. Device pixel ratio. Thank you, Josh. I knew I was missing something. I hadn't explored that directly before. I guess you can increase the DPI for iPhones. I remember Media Queries doing this and having two images. Yeah. That's unfortunate. Okay, device pixel ratio. That's great. Yeah, acronyms so helpful unless people don't know what they mean, then they're not very helpful, which is okay. You just I don't know. My rule of thumb is if you're going to use an acronym, define it the first time, and then keep using it. That's fine. 3024 divided by 4032.75, or what's the inverse of that? 1.33. Okay. So if I want this thing to be like 800 pixels wide times 0.75. Oh, I did that wrong. 1 point blah, blah, blah. That doesn't seem quite right. I want some nicer numbers. Okay, cool. 1200, 900 should work. 900 width, 1200 height, and then we should have an okay looking dog. Nope, I totally messed something up. Oh my gosh. Oh, there she is. What is going on? Nope, she's gone now. I don't think this is me, but it must be. Okay, I want this to be smaller. Is it just taking a second to load? Is that the problem? If I run the network? Yes, I think that's all that's happening. Because it's like having to transform the image every time. That makes sense. Because you would want to cache that or whatever if you're using this strategy anyway. Okay, cool. So this is cool in the sense that you can dynamically adjust the height and width and everything. This is kind of spoiler alert what the Vite image, not this one, the image tools does. So if we go to that one, do route slash image, this guy. So the way this works is you get to pass along, yeah, your like width and height as like query params, and it will automatically do the transformations for you. And you can also get like source set and WebP source set. So this is like, now that we have Vite, this feels like a really nice way to do this. I mean, it's very like Vite oriented. So I like this a lot more. What I dislike about this is that I have like 4 imports for the same file. So I kind of wish that I could like do dynamic imports, but I think that that wouldn't work because I think Vite has to like know what each of these imports is ahead of time to like create all those images and whatnot. So that's a downside. So maybe I should include the remix image because it is dynamic, which is really nice. So it's dynamically manipulating this stuff, which is cool. So maybe maybe it's a thing where I'll like give, where I'll like mention it when I talk about Sharp. Maybe that's the way to do it. So yeah, sorry, just trying to think out loud about this whole thing, how we want this whole guide to work. Okay, cool. So remix, and then I'm almost done with remix image. Does Cloudflare offer this kind of image transformation service? I'm curious how you end up deploying this Remix app when using Remix image, probably a Node Express deployment. So yes, if you are using Remix image, you do have to use a Node service, I'm pretty sure, because I think it's very much built on Node. Because if you're using Sharp at all, you do, which is like the underlying package, and that's what I want to show that version of. And so yeah, that's a good point. I want to call out that if you're using Sharp, that you have to be on Node. So the typical use case for this high-speed Node API module is to convert large images in common formats and smaller web-friendly JPEG, PNG. Yeah, see WebP. That's really what I would like you to, or AVIF, like you to convert to those. So yeah, you do need Node for this one. Cloudflare, I haven't actually looked at it yet, but this is definitely on my radar when I talk about like image CDNs. Because I've heard Cloudflare's is really nice, but a lot of these image CDNs, like this is what they do. They do all this stuff on demand for you. And so the downside of this is you have to pay money. The upside is you don't have to pay your time creating a Cloudflare CDN alternative, essentially. So it's a build or buy question. Like like so many questions in software it is. So yeah, I want to play with this thing. I've heard the pricing is really good. You can upload images. It's also another really nice thing. And then transforming images. So yeah, here's where we can transform like with the URL. And so you pretty much would give it all these options. Oh, this is interesting. So you do it in the worker. Whoa. Okay. Well, no, because there's a URL format. Sorry. So I think these are all query params. This would be my guess because that's kind of typically how all these things work. So it's another thing you have to learn though. You're not like totally scot free. You do have to like figure out their API and then figure out your API to the API and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, we'll get to that. And that maybe that'll just be a stream on its own. It's just like figuring out how to use the Cloudflare one because I think that's the one I'd like to show off because I've heard I need to look at them again and compare the prices, but I've heard it's like pretty affordable. I really like Cloudflare. I just don't like their documentation always, but I really like everything they make. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to look at, and then I'm probably just gonna be done for today, is I wanted to understand some things. I like this. I just explain to me like what this is actually doing. Okay, so we've got transformation options. So this is important with that loader, like the image dot AP, or the API dot image, I believe. So we've got a config. I will just put this in here so we can see all this stuff. Perfect. Yeah, I'm sure that cache is probably very helpful. I just I do wonder what this cache can be. It can be a cache, it can be a type cache, and type cache needs like a config, a has, status, get, set, clear. Okay, cool. So I wonder if you could use like an LRU cache or something. Well, that might be different. Anyway, it makes sense because it's like if you've done it once, you don't want to keep doing that transformation. And you probably should have like a HTTP cache, like a Fastly or something like that, like a CDN on top of it. That's caching your images once they've been transformed, so you're not transforming them every single time. But it's also nice to have like a server-side cache. But the problem is like with images, is if you do have a server-side cache for your images, they can like blow up like crazy. A cache like so you really got to manage that well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm not an expert here when it comes to like caching and server caches and caching like images and stuff, but like that kind of makes me pretty nervous on like this sort of like servers that I stand up and use and whatnot of like trying to cache all the images just seems like a lot. So in like the disk. So maybe this is useful for like local dev or whatever. So you're not just constantly like recreating the image every time. I don't know. Tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah, sorry, Josh. The reason I mentioned Sharp, you said you use Sharp. You know it's a Node thing. Yeah, this is built on Sharp. So Remix image requires Node. I think that was what you were asking basically. Does Cloudflare offer this kind of an image transformation service? Yeah. Yeah, they do. I'm curious how you end up deploying this Remix app when using Remix image. Yeah. Yeah. So this one is actually deployed on Fly so that I can do everything I want to do. So we got base path, blacklisted domains, default options, fallback format, skip formats, all sorts of things. Can I just tell it what format to use? So we can get the fit, how the image should be resized. So this is also what's interesting to me. Oh, no, this makes sense. Okay, so you'd pass these things as like query params potentially and then pass them into your thing. So maybe that was the problem is the fit was not getting transformed correctly. You have to use a custom transformer. There just feels like a lot more work I need to do to get this thing to work. Oh, see, wait, they have an actual Cloudflare example. That's cool. Okay, I think I need to spend more time in this to fully understand it. Maybe I'm discounting it. It definitely does have some cool stuff, but it almost feels like just as much setup to me at the moment. Maybe not. There's some really cool stuff in here. I just need to spend more time with it. Okay, cool. So yeah, this has got lots of stuff that you can use. I definitely want to like mention it if people like this. It's got a pretty hefty API. The oh here, see this one's importing correctly. Yeah, this documentation just needs to be updated a little bit to V2, and then I think this would be pretty cool. So I definitely want to reference this. But yeah, I don't know if I'm going to show an example of it because they've already, that's kind of should be on their documentation. I don't want to keep my documentation in step with their documentation. But I do want to reference it because it's using a lot of the patterns we have. So I can definitely say like, hey, here's a very remixed version of everything I've showed you. You should use like remix image, or you should look at it. That might be something that works well for you. But for me, I'm going to show you like, here's a basic example. This is just how you use regular old images, like HTML image components with source sets and all that kind of stuff. Here's like a Vite plugin image optimizer that just automatically optimizes all of your images. Here's the Vite image tools. This is like this is a Vite specific thing, but you can like use query params essentially, or URL params when you import your image to get like to transform it in certain ways, which is pretty cool. It's not very dynamic from what I can tell. It's like hard to do something dynamic. Here's Sharp. This is like what Remix Image is using. But yeah, you can kind of set up your own kind of like API and do whatever you want, and it can be scoped to your specific project. So this this one is like very flexible, which is really cool. Like, you may accidentally end up creating an entire CDN, and that's not great. Or I don't know, it might be fine. Maybe you want to do that. Or you can just like have a very like, I always want my images to be converted to WebP, and that's great. Like you've got a minimal Sharp setup for that, which is cool. But yeah, we can talk about maybe remix image a little bit there. Talk about how it's built on top of Sharp, and it has a bunch of like options already picked for you. And then we'll do unpick, which is oops, not that. Unpick picks, not this one. Which is like a framework agnostic, yeah, like library, which is cool, like component. So this one, but these are very much made to work with a CDN. Maybe I should be showing Shopify CDN. I don't know. And so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about CDNs at that point, which will be nice. And just say like, hey, this has like one API, and it works with like any kind of CDN you have, image CDN, or works with a lot of them, which is really cool. So that's everything I'm thinking of for this. And I hope that this is helpful to people once I get it there. But yeah, I need to figure out what the next steps are. But this was good. I'm glad we looked into Remix Image. I hope this was helpful if you've never looked at this before, and gives you some thoughts on it. If I like miss something completely, please tell me and explain it to me, and help me. If you want to give them a PR to update some of their docs where it's not exactly correct. It's just really minor things, but I think that'd be cool too. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it. So thanks. Yeah, thanks if you get on the stream. If this was fun in any way, let me know. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of streams, so I don't always know what is good or bad about them. I just am trying to use this to maintain some focus for myself. But yeah, if you have any tips of how this can be a little bit better, if you like this, if this was helpful in any way, let me know. But yeah, I'd like to keep doing these and just kind of documenting the story, building this image guide. But I'll definitely make it a little bit more clear what we're working on each time, and try not to get distracted. So thanks, Josh, for that feedback. Be cool to see all the way the way to work with images and remix. Yep, that's what I want to show. That's definitely the goal. And so yeah, the next ones I want to actually focus a little bit more on like implementing the specific ones. And then yeah, I was originally thinking I would be doing a lot of the writing in these streams, but that sounds super boring to like write in front of y'all. So I think I'll be doing more of the outline as I'm like showing how they work, which will be cool. So yeah, I think next time we're gonna do, let's go back to this. Yeah, next time we'll do Vite plugin image optimizer, and we'll talk about I've already got a little bit written down, but we'll just kind of talk about how it works and kind of implement it. So that'll be cool. All right, well, thanks for indulging. I got what, like 16 people watch this, so thank you all.